electrical earthing and electrical installation. So we start by asking ourselves the question, what is the purpose of earthing in an electrical installation? I'm going to zoom this out so that you can be able to see. So in most and every electrical installation made, earthing is used. We need to know today what is earthing. And after knowing what is electrical earthing, we will learn about the purpose of electrical earthing. Why is it important to do an earthing? You remember we started by talking about the installation. After doing electrical installation, we talked about inspecting, testing and inspection. And last week we were talking about the testing and inspection. You've already done an installation in a building, that is in a new building. And before you can hand over, that is before the building can be commissioned, it has to be inspected. The reason for inspecting is to make sure that all the requirements or all the equipments are in place and it is a safe installation. So today we're going to talk about earthing. And the earthing system, also known as the grounding system, in a circuit connecting parts of electrical installation on the ground, there is the earthing system that regulates the conductors with respect to the Earth's conducting surface. Hence, the term earthing is also quite appropriate and indicative. So, earthing sometimes in the field, when you find yourself in the field, sometimes we normally refer to it as grounding. You'll not hear this term earthing most often when you're on the field, but you'll hear people saying grounding. So both grounding and earthing mean the same term. So why is an earthing necessary? Why do you think do we need to earth, and what is it? First of all, earthing is connecting all the electrical installation, that is the electrical components to the earth. Meaning the reason for doing this is to be able to draw the excess charges that can be able to cause an electric shock to the earth. And when we draw them to the earth, meaning we are enhancing safety, people's safety and the users and even passers-by, safety in using an installation or a certain equipment. So earthing is an important component of electrical systems because of the following reasons. Reason number one is it keeps people safe for preventing electric shocks. That is, it prevents damage to electrical appliances and devices by preventing excessive current that is flowing through the circuit. Sometimes there can be a fault when there is a supplier of power. Maybe there's a power blackout, and all of a sudden the power comes back, and there's an oversupply, meaning the power has a higher rating than what the equipment are able to carry. So then we get an oversupply of current, that is excess current. So this excess current is can probably cause electric shock or even burning or destroying of the equipment. So we do earthing so that it can able to protect our equipment, and even the people operating this equipment, they can be able to protect them from electric shock, meaning the excess current will be drawn to the earth, that is the earth mass. So it also prevents the risk of fire that would otherwise be caused by the current leakage. So we said that in case there's there's an oversupply of current, or there's an excess supply of current, it can lead to burning or spoiling of the appliances, and this can also cause fire. So earthing will also prevent fire from taking place or occurring in case of an electrical fault. So advantages of earthing. The following are some of the advantages of earthing in an earthing system. So from the technical perspective, earthing has some excellent advantages. So resulting in becoming the mainstream practice in the electrical industry. So one of the advantages of earthing is the electrical system is related to the potential of the general earth mass and connected and cannot reach a different potential. So the potential of the earth is zero, normally 0 volts, and is known as the neutral of the electrical supply. So this helps in keeping the balance. Another advantage is that the metal can be used in electrical installation without having a worry about the conductivity. And this is because when earthing is done, all the excess charges will be drained to the ground and hence will not cause an electrical shock. You'll ask yourself, sometimes you do this electrical installation and you find some metallic parts or equipment in the house. Things like the showers, things like water pipes, normally most of them are metallic, but you realize that they will not cause any electric shock because the house has been well grounded. So an advantage for this earthing, it makes sure that all the electrical system equipment are connected to the general earth mass and cannot reach the different potential. So another advantage is in case of surges in the voltage, high voltages can pass through the electricity circuit. So this kind of overload can lead to damage of devices and danger in human life. So when earthing is installed, with electrical installation, the current is routed through the different path and does not affect the electrical system. That is a very important point. An electrical circuit has to be connected together with a lot of attention. That is to the kind of reactions each of the transformer may have. Remember, all the electrical equipment that are connected normally has to be earthed straight away from the transformer that is able to transform the voltage down to the supply, to the service cable, to the meter box, and even to the building itself and the installation itself, and all the metallic parts or surroundings in the house. They all have to be earthed. So in response to any of the action, the part of the transformer. The earth is an ever-present conductive surface and helps configure these relationships between different electrical sources and makes them easier to handle. So we have different types of earth, different types of earthing. And after we learn about the different types of earthing, we'll also go ahead and learn about the earthing systems, that exist. What are the kinds of earthing systems that exist? So the types of earthing that we have number one is called a plate earthing. What is a plate earthing? Plate earthing requires a couple and a galvanized iron. Later on, we are going to look at the pictures and the diagrams of how they look like. We look at how these figures look like. So plate earthing requires a copper or galvanized iron to be buried vertically into the earth in an earth pit, dug more than 10 feet to the ground. So these earth pits are then filled with charcoal and salt in the alternate layers. So pipe earthing. What is pipe earthing? For pipe earthing, the pipe of galvanized steel is placed in the soil earth instead of the plate. So when the pipe is drilled, the pipe is drilled with holes for connecting the earthing wires. So the length and the diameter of the pipe depends on the type of soil and the type of electrical installation. So in this method, as well as the earth pits are filled with the alternate layers of charcoal and salts for inducing reactivity. So pipe earthing is the most common type of earthing, the one that is locally used. Another kind of earthing is the rod earthing. Similarly to pipe earthing, the rod earthing requires the burying of the rod made of copper or galvanized iron, normally called the earth rod. That is commonly used also. So electrodes are embedded in the soil and thus decreases the resistance of the earth as required. Another one is the wire earthing. So for wire earthing, several horizontal trenches are dug. Stripped electrodes are buried inside the trenches. These electrodes are made of copper or galvanized iron or steel. Sometimes the round coppers are also used in the ground. Another kind of earthing is the Waterman method. So the Waterman method calls for the use of Waterman or galvanized GI pipes. These pipes are buried in the earth and earthing clamps and are used to reduce the resistance of the electrical connection. So irrespective of which method is used for earthing, it is important to ensure that the size of the device, that is the depth of its burial and its connection to the electrical installation is done with great care and after in-depth calculations in order for it to be effective. I said we are going to go all through these steps and we will look at the pictures and diagrams of how the installation is done and the materials that are used and are needed for this earthing. So there are factors that affect earthing installation. Several factors can play a role in the earthing installation. These factors will have to be taken into consideration for any kind of calculation made about the type of earthing, so the kind of circuits required and so on. So the kind of soil is also important to determine the effectiveness of earthing. So the earthing resistance, the moisture level in the soil, salts and the soil, etc., will play a significant role in determining the way the earthing is made. So the soil composition is also another factor that needs to be taken into consideration. E.g., the rocky soil has to be treated very differently to wet soil. So apart from the soil, the location of the earth pit is important to determine how the installation should be done. If there are underground obstructions in the form of the rock beds, then they will affect the installation. So electrical earthing components. There are several components that are used in earthing. So we are going to learn about the components, the methods, the types of earthing, electrical grounding, and installation. So these are a list of things that we're going to. So what is electrical earthing and grounding? That one we have talked about, the components, the methods, and we are going to see several of them. So, just as a review of what we've just gone through, you ask yourself, what is electrical earthing or grounding? We said that is to connect a metallic conductive part. It is the procedure of connecting the metallic conductive part, that is the conductive part of the electrical appliance, to or insulation to the earth or the ground, also called earthing or grounding. So, in other words, to connect a metallic part of electric machinery and devices of the electrical plate or electrode, which is buried into the nature earth, that is through the thick conductive wire, which has very low resistance. So for safety purpose, known as earthing or grounding. You remember we normally earth all the things, all the electrical appliances, right away from the motors, uh, the connection that we have, that is power from the socket, and power that is obtained from any other electrical appliances is normally grounded. And the machines, the electrical machines that we normally have used in industries, used in workshops, all of them have to be grounded, our water pipes and so on. So to earth, or earthing rather, means to connect the part of electrical apparatus such as a metallic covering or metal, earth terminal or socket cables, stay wires, and the stay wires, I hope you know the stay wires. Stay wires are those wires that are normally used during electrical supply to be able to give stability, mechanical stability of the overhead power supply. Like for example, if you have a pole that is dropping a service cable, sometimes the pole cannot stand by itself, so we use a stay wire. Stay wires are used so that they can increase the firmness. So even these stay wires are normally grounded so that they cannot bring about electrical shock. So stay wires can and that do not carry current to the earth. So earthing can be said to can be said as the connection of the neutral position of the power supply system to the earth so as to avoid or minimize the danger during the discharge of electrical energy. What is the difference between earthing, grounding, and bonding? So let us be clear in this. Earthing and grounding are the same terms. I had already said that. Earthing and grounding are the same terms and are used for earthing. So grounding is commonly word used for earthing and in standards by the EEE, that is the Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineering. And while earthing is used in areas like for the British standards, the Commonwealth countries like the British standards and the IEC. So the word bonding used for joining two wires, that is as well as conductors, pipes, appliances together. Bonding is known as connecting the metallic part of different machines, which is not considered to be carrying electric current during normal operation of the machine to bring them at the same level of the electric potential. So why earthing is important? Why do you think is earthing important? Primary purpose of earthing is to avoid the minimized danger. We already talked about that. That is the fire or to the earth leakage of the current through the undesired path, or to ensure the potential of the current carrying conductor does not rise with respect to the earth than its design installation. So when the metallic part of the electrical appliance, that is parts that can conduct or allow passage of electric current, comes in contact with the live wire, maybe due to failure of the installation or failure of the cable insulation. So the metal becomes charged and static charges accumulates on it. So if a person touches such a charged metal, the result is a severe shock. So to avoid such instances, the power supply systems, a part of the appliances, have to be earthed so as to transfer the charge directly to the earth. So this is why we need electrical earthing or grounding, just simply to direct all these excess charges to the ground so that to avoid electric shock. So below are the basic needs for earthing that protect human lives, to keep voltage constant in a healthy phase, that is if the fault occurs on any of the phases, and then to serve as a return conductor in the electric traction system in communication. Another one is to avoid the risk of fire in electrical installation system. Now, different terms are used by electrical earthing, that is the earth. What is the earth, you might ask? An earth is the proper connection between the electrical insulation system via the conductor, the buried plate of the earth. What is earthed? It's a term that we'll also find, that we are going also to find. Earthed means that when an electrical device or appliance or wiring system is connected to the earth through an earth electrode, it is also known as the earthed device or simply earthed. Then we have another term as solidly earthed. What does it mean? When an electrical device or appliance or electrical installation is connected to the earth, electrodes without a fuse, then the circuit breaker of the resistance or impedance is called solidly earthed. Another term that we're going to see in this topic is the earth electrode. Now, what is an earth electrode? So when a conductor or a conductive plate is buried on the earth for the electrical earthing system, it is known as to be the earth electrode. So earth electrodes are in different shapes like the conductive plates, the conductive rods, metal water pipes, or any other a conductor with low resistance. What is the earthing lead? The conductor wire or conductive strip connected between the earth and the electrical installation system and devices is called the earthing lead. Earth continuity conductor is also another term as earth continuity conductor. So the conductor wire, which is connected among different electrical devices and appliances like the distribution board, the different plugs and appliances, etc. So in other words, the wire between earthing lead and electrical devices or appliances are called the earthing continuity conductor, and this may be in shape of metal pipe, fully or partial, or cable, metallic sheet, or flexible wire. Another part is the submain earthing conductor. What is the submain earthing conductor? It is the wire that is connected between the switchboard and the distribution board. It is called the submain earthing conductor. It is the total resistance between the earth electrode and the earth in ohms. That is, the ohms is the unit that is used to measure resistance. That is the earth resistance in the algebraic sum of the resistance to the earth continuity, the conductor, earthing lead, and earthing electrode of the earthing. So points to be earthed. So the earth is not done anyhow. Of course, you cannot just do the earth anyhow. There are special allocations or special areas that the earthing is done. So earthing is not done anyhow. According to the IE rules and the IEE, Institute of Electrical Engineers regulation, the earth pin or the 3-pin lighting plug and the 4-pin power plug should be efficiently and permanently earthed. So all the metal casing and metallic governing, containing or protecting any electric supply and line and apparatus such as the GI pipes and conduits, enclosing the VIR or the PVC cables, iron-clad switches, and iron-clad distribution fuses, boards, etc. should be earthed, that is connected to the earth. And now the frame we have the frame of every generator, stationary motors, and metallic parts of all the transformers used for controlling energy should be earthed. I started by saying that all the electrical appliances installed or not installed have to be earthed and should be earthed by 2 separate or yet distinct connections with the earth. So in a DC 3-wire system, the middle conductors should be earthed at the general station. So stay wires, I also explain what stay wires are, that are for overhead lines should be connected to earth by connecting at least one strand of the earth wire. The components of the earth system, now we are going to look at the drawing of how they look like. So look at this drawing. We have this one is the switchboard. the one that is that is responsible for supply of power. This is a symbol for earthing. All the time that you look see this diagram, you'll be seeing this symbol. So when you see this symbol, anytime you see it, it means it's an earthing symbol. And then this is the earth continuity conductor that is normally tapped from the switchboard to the ground. This is the connecting point of the earth continuity conductor and the earth lead. So this is the earthing lead that is there, and this is now this is the connecting point, and this is how it looks like. Normally it looks like this, and the wires meet at this point and it is tightened. So the components of the earthing and grounding system. The continuity earth conductor of the earth wire is a part of earthing system which interconnects the overall metallic parts of the electrical installation, e.g. the conduit, the ducts, boxes, metal shells of the switches, distribution boards, switches, fuses, regulating and controlling devices, metallic parts of electrical machines such as motors, generators, transformers, and the metallic framework where electrical devices and components are installed is known as the earth wire or electrical continuity conductor as shown in the figure. So you can see it in that figure above. So the resistance of the earth continuity conductor is very low. That is according to the IEE rules. Resistance between the consumer earth terminal and the earth continuity conductor, that is at the end, should not be increased to more than 1 ohm. So in simple words, resistance of the earth wire should be less than 1 ohm. So the size of the continuity conductor of the earth wire depends on the size of the cable used in the wiring circuit. So if you have a wiring circuit to supply a large power, like the service cable that is supplying maybe 10 millimeter square or 16 millimeter square, which is the common size of the supply, the supply cable. So the earthing wire should not exceed 1 ohm. The cross-section area of the earth continuity conductor should not be less than a half of the cross-section area of the thickness of the wire used for the electrical wiring installation. So the general size of the bare copper used as the earth continuity conductor should be 3 SWG. Now, but keep in mind that don't use less than 14 SWG earth wire. That is, the copper strip also can be used as the earth continuity conductor instead of the bare copper wire, and do not go for it until the manufacturer recommends it. So the earth lead or the earthing joint. What is this? So the conductor wire connected between the earth continuity conductor and the earth electrode of the earth plate is called the earthing joint. That is the earthing lead. I showed you that in the diagram. So the point where the earth continuity conductor and the earth electrode meet is known as the connecting point, as shown in the figure. So the earthing lead is the final part of the earthing system, which is connected to the earth rod, to the electrode, which is underground, that is through the earth connecting point. There should be a minimum joints in earthing lead as well as a lower in size and straight in direction. So generally, copper wire can be used as earthing lead, but a copper strip is also used for high insulation, and it can handle a high fault current because of the wider area than the copper wire. So a hard drawn bare copper wire is also used as an earthing lead. In this method, all electrical conductors connected to a common one or more connecting points, and then so earthing lead is used to connect earth electrodes, that is the earth path to the connecting point. So to increase the safety factor of insulation, 2 copper wires are used as earthing lead. So to connect the device metallic body to the earth electrode or the earth plate, i.e. if we use 2 earth electrodes for the electric plate, there would be 4 earthing leads. It should not be considered that the 2 earth leads are used in parallel paths to follow the fault currents, but both paths should work properly to carry out the fault current because it is important or better. So now look at this diagram. This is an earthing of a simple motor from 2 places. We are earthing it from 2 places, meaning we are earthing it from the supply side and from the ground side. So this is the motor, this is our motor, and this is our isolator, and this is the earth continuity conductor. You can see it is being earthed from that side and that side. So that is the connecting point. The two of them are being connected, and they are meeting at the electrical leads. The earthing leads are here, and they're meeting at the earth plate. So the earth plate is normally buried in the ground earth. That is the ground. That is the earth mass. So the size of the earthing lead, the size of the and area of the earthing lead should not be less than a half of the thickness of the wire used for installation. We had already said that. So the largest size of the earthing lead is the SWG, and the minimum size should not be less than 8 SWG. That is the size. And then now, if we use this wire, it's used for the load current of 200 amperes from the supply voltage. And then it is recommended to use a copper strip instead of double earthing lead. So the earth lead connection methods is shown in the figure above. Now another thing that we have is the electrical plates, the earthing electrode earth plates, or called earth plates. So the metal electrode or plate which is buried in the earth, that is underground, and it is the last part of the electrical earthing system. So in simple words, the final underground metal plates are part of the earthing system, which is connected with earthing lead, is called the earth plate or the earth electrode. So the metallic plate, that is a pipe or rod, can be used as an earth electrode, which has very low resistance and carry the fault current safely towards the ground, that is towards the earth. Now you can see how they are being joined. These are the conductors, the earth leads or the earth conductors that came from the appliances, and they are now joining. You can see how they're joining from one point to the other. You can see now one that comes to this point joined to the other point, and this to the other point. And now this is the joining of copper wire earth leads on the earth plate. Now this is the right joining when they are joining like this, and this is the wrong and right ways of joining. So this one is a wrong joining. They need all of them. They need to meet at the plate, not one meeting this point and this, so that they can equally get to be able to reach the ground. So you can see this is the wrong connection. The first one is the wrong connection, the one that I'm pointing at, and the second one is the right connection, meaning that all the lead cables, the lead electrodes that are coming from the appliance must reach the electrode, the earth plate. The size of an earthing electrode, that is both the copper and the iron, can be used for earthing electrode. Now the size of the electrode in case of copper is 2 times 2, that is of the copper foot of the. And these calculations, when we come back to school, we will be able to see them in the workshop and do it practically how we do the earthing. So it is recommended to bury the earth electrode in the moisture earth. If it is not possible, then put water in the GI galvanized iron pipe to make possible the moisture condition. So you will realize, I don't know if you've ever gone to the field and you realize that people who are doing installation, the moment they're doing earthing, they make sure that when they're doing the earthing, they align their earth plate or wherever they bury the earth rod is in line with where the water normally from the roof pours on the ground, so that it can enable the water mass that is needed for them, or the moist condition that is needed for the earthing. So in the earthing system, put an earth electrode in vertical position, that is underground, is shown in the figure above that we had shown, and put a 1 foot, that is a 30 centimeter layer of powdered charcoal and lime mixture around the earth plate. Now do not confuse with the earth electrode and earth plates, as both are the same thing. Now this action makes the possible increase in size of the earth electrode, which leads a better continuity in the earth, that is the earthing system, and also helps in maintaining the moisture condition. So something to note here is do not cook after burning charcoal in the furnace. to emit gases and other components and remaining 80% carbon. So the stone are chalk instead of charcoal or wood because it causes the corrosion of the earth plate. Now, since water level is different in different areas, therefore, the depth of the earth electrode installation is also different in various areas. But the depth of the earth rod installation should not be less than 10 feet, that is 3 meters, and should below 1 foot and constant water level. So when we are installing this earth rod, we make sure that we drive it down very deep into the ground and not less than 3 meters, that is 10 feet down, so that it can be able to go and meet the earth mass that is down in the ground. Also, the earth plate and earth electrode size and a small installation. So small installation has metallic rods that is diameter of 25 millimeters, 1 inch length, and 2 feet, 2 meters, that is 6 feet, instead of the earth plate of the earthing system. So the metallic pipe should be 2 meters below from the surface of the ground to maintain the moisture condition. We have said that the moisture condition is a very important part. The method and types of electrical earthing. Earthing can be done in many ways. There are various methods employed in earthing, that is in-house or factory and other connected electrical equipment and machines discussed below. We are going to see we have the plate earthing. We had already talked about the plate earthing. In the system are made of either copper or dimension of 60 millimeters by 60 centimeters by 3.18 millimeters. That is 2 feet by 2 feet by 1/8 of a feet in or galvanized iron GI of the dimension 60 by 60 by 6.35 millimeters. It is buried vertically in the earth, that is the earth pit, which should not be less than 3 meters. We said the earth pit or the hole that you are digging for the earthing should not be less than 3 feet from the ground level. It has to go down at least 10 feet or 3 meters to be precise. So for proper earthing system, follow the above mentioned steps in the earthing plate introduction and to maintain the moisture condition of the earth. So you can see now that is the plate earthing. As we had talked about it, now these are the, I think this is the cast iron hide frame. You can see the copper plate, the galvanized iron there. So the 60 by 60 by 3.3 plate is here. You can see how it looks like. So all this is the apparatus that is supposed to be earthed, and all the cables are being connected down to the plate so that it can increase the surface area of dissipation of the excess charges in the ground. Now pipe earthing, we had also talked about it. Now this is a more explained, a detailed explanation of this pipe earthing. The galvanized steel and a perforated pipe of approved length and diameter is placed vertically in the wet soil and this kind of system of earthing. So in most common system of earthing, the size of the pipe is used dependent on the magnitude of the current and the type of soil. So the dimension of the pipe is usually 40 millimeters, that is 1.5 inch in diameter, and 2.5 meters, that is 9 feet in length of the ordinary soil or greater or for dry and rocky soil. So the moisture of the soil will determine the length of the pipe to be buried on the feet. So we are going to see a diagram of that. Now the rod earthing in the same it's the same method as pipe earthing. And rod, you remember this is the earth rod now, and this is how it looks like. The copper rod that is 12.5 millimeters or a half an inch diameter, or 16 millimeters a diameter of galvanized steel or hollow section that is the 25 millimeter inch pipe of length about 2.5 meters are buried upright in the earth manually or with the help of the pneumatic hammer. So the length of the embedded electrodes of the soil in the soil reduces the earth resistance in the desired value. So this is an earth rod, and the way it is being hit, it is hit down, down, down to the ground until it cannot be totally seen. Now the copper rod electrode earthing system. The earthing through the waterman is another form of earthing. This method of earthing, that is a waterman galvanized pipe, is used for earthing purpose. So make sure that they check resistance of the GI pipes and use earthing clamps to minimize the resistance for proper earthing connection. So if stranded connector is used on earth wire, then clean the end of the strand of the wire and make sure it is in the straight and parallel position, which is possible, and then connect it tightly to the water pipe. So the strip wire or wire earthing here. Copper with the cross section of 25 by 4 is used, and the dimension of the 3 millimeters and the galvanized iron seal. So if all around the connectors are used, then their cross section area should not be so too small, say less than 6.0 millimeters squared. If it is a galvanized iron or steel, the length of the conductor buried in the ground should give sufficient earth resistance at its length. They should be less. So general method of electrowire earthing, step-by-step way of installing. So usual method of earthing in electrical equipment devices and appliances are as follows. Step number 1 is, first of all, dig a 5 by 5 feet pit about 20 to 30 feet in the ground. Now, note that the depth with it depends on the nature of the structure of the ground. The second step is to bury any appropriate, that is usual, a copper plate in the pit in a vertical position. You make sure you bury it in a vertical position, and then tight earth lead through the nut bolts from 2 different places on the earth plate. And then step 4 is to use the earth leads with each earth plate, that is in case 2 earth plates and tight them. To protect the joints from corrosion, put grease around it. Another one is to collect all the wires in the metallic pipe from the earth electrode. That is, make sure the pipe is at least 1 feet above the surface of the ground. Step 7. To maintain the moisture condition around the earth plate, now put a 1 feet a layer of a powdered charcoal. The powdered charcoal is just the normal charcoal that we use, and a lime mixture around the earth plate around the earth plate. And now, then step 8 is use a thimble and a nut bolt to connect tight wires to the bed plates of the machines. That is, each machine should be attached from 2 different plates. Now, machines like we talked about, the motors, the generators, the drilling machines, all the machines that we use in our workshop, we make sure that they are now, all of them are added from 2 ends or 2 points. I showed you how that happens from the motor that was there on the diagram. At last, step 9 is the earth continuity continuity, which is connected to the body and metallic part of all the insulation, should be tightly connected to the earth lead. Now make sure to use the continuity by using the continuity tester. Use the continuity tester. And then the last step is, at last but not least, test the overall earthing system through the earth tester. We normally have an earth tester, and this earth tester is also called an earth loop impedance tester. So if everything is going about the planning, then fill the pit with soil. The maximum allowable resistance for earthing is 1 ohm. If it is more about 1 ohm, then increase the size of length of the earth lead and earth continuity conductors. So keep the external ends of the pipes open and put the water time to time to maintain the moisture condition around the earth electrode, which is important for the better earthing system. So the SI specifications. What are the specifications? The standard specification, the various specifications in respect to the earthing are recommended for the standard are now: the earthing electrode should not be situated, that is installed close to the building whose installation system is being earthed at least more than 1.5 meter away. So the earth resistance should be low enough to cause the flow of current sufficient to operate with the weather, because it depends on the moisture. Another one is the earth wire and the earth electrode will be the same material. And then the earthing electrode should always be placed in a vertical position instead of inside the pit, so that it may be in contact with all the different parts of the layers. Okay. So the dangers of not earthing a supply system. What do you think? Why is it dangerous not to supply an earthing system or an earthing to your system? Why is it dangerous not to earth your system? So an emphasis on earlier earthing is provided in order to, number one, avoid the electric shock. Number two, to avoid risk of fire. Number three, to ensure that no current carrying conductor rises to a potential with respect to the general mass of the earth than the designed installation. So, however, if excessive current is not earthed, appliances will be damaged without the help of the fuse in the plate. So you should note that the excessive current are earthed at their generating stations, which is why earthing wires carry very large or no current at all. So it therefore implies that it is not necessary to add or any of the wires, that is the live, earth, or neutral wires contained in the PVC. So adding the live wire is catastrophic because if you add the live wire, meaning in case there is a leakage of current, then it will have to short and cause a very bad explosion or electrical fire. So, just for instance, is that there's a person that was simply killed because a live wire got cut from the overhead pole and fell on the ground while on the ground was wet. You remember the water is normally a good conductor of electricity. So anytime that this a wet ground gets into contact with the live wire, then electrocution automatically happens. Excessive current is added at generating stations, and if at all the earthing is not efficient due to the fault, then the effort interrupts will be there to help. So fuse help only when the power transmitted is above the rating of our appliances. It blocks the current from reaching our appliances by blowing off and protecting our appliances in the process. So in our electrical appliances, if excessive currents are not added, then we would experience severe shock. So earthing takes place in electrical appliances only when there is a problem, and it is to save us from danger. So if an electronic insulation, that is metallic part of an electrical appliance, comes in direct contact with the live wire, that results from maybe failure or insulation or otherwise. So the metal will be charged with static charge will accumulate it. So that is about the earthing and grounding. So types of electrical earthing, we have the neutral earthing and equipment earthing, and we are going to see the system. We also have the earthing system, that is the TNS, and so the next slide will be looking at the systems of earthing. The earthing equipment are there. So you can now see the electrical system without earthing. When look at now this, when we have an electrical system without earthing, what happens? It will mean that this electrical current will have to go through the person or a human body. Now, once a secondary distribution transformer, you can see this is our live wire coming from the transformer, and this is the neutral wire. So if there is no earthing, this is an electrical equipment, and this person has just touched this electrical equipment, meaning this current is going to discharge through this person and goes to the ground. And the moment it passes through the human body, then the person has been electrocuted and might even die on the spot. So when a fault occurs, the fault current from the equipment flows through the earthing system to the earth and thereby protects the equipment from the fault current. So at the time of fault, the earth conductors arise to the voltage which is equal to the resistance of the earth multiplied the ground fault. So this is now a system, a healthy system with the wire. So you can see the difference between the two systems. Now this one has an earthing wire. You can see the earth. So in case of a fault, the fault current goes through the earth and goes to the general mass. But in case there is no earthing, so it means that the current, this excess current, will have to look for an alternative route to go through. And this alternative route or shortest route will be the human body. So it will have to go through the human body and then hence electrocute the person. So that is that slide. I want us to have a break of about 40 minutes. We go for the discussion, and after the discussion, after the break, we will come back and go to the next slide. And now in this slide, we are going to talk about the earthing. Now the systems of earthing. What are the systems of earthing that we have? We look at the systems of earthing, the structures, and how they are installed. So we are going to go for a break. So unmute your mic. Yes. Yes, Gachoki, we are going to go for a discussion for the next 40 minutes.
Yeah.
After the 40 minutes, we'll come back again and finish on the systems, the earthing systems that we have. Okay. So by exactly 12:42, we will be back. Is that okay?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. In earthing. So the system that we're going to talk about, there are several systems. We have the TNS system. We have, and we will discuss them one after the other. So when you look at the figure or the diagram here, we have the TNS system. The TNS system is shown in the figure and has the neutral source. Let me go back here first. There are different systems. We have the TNS, we have the TNCS systems, and we have the TNC system. So we will describe each and every one of them. So the TNS, TNCS, the TT, the TNC, and the IT system. We have the T meaning the earth, that is from the French word, and then the N is the neutral, and then the S is the separate, C is combined, I is the isolated. So when there is a combination of this, so T and S means the first one will mean that the earth, neutral, and separate. The earth and neutral are separate, and the TNCS means that the earth, the neutral, and the combined are separate. The TT meaning the earth and earth are combined, and the TN means that the earth and the neutral are combined, and the IT means that it has an isolated earthing. So now we go on and show the structure. So you can see now this is a kind of a system that has the TNS, meaning this is the earth. The T we said is the earth, the N is the neutral, that are joined, they are being combined, meaning they're combining at this part. You can see now the earth itself and the neutral, they're combining at this point. So you can see the light is here. So this is the source of supply and the installation. This is the installed equipment. So when it is, this is the source of the earth. You can see that this is the TNS, the system. So this is the equipment itself that is supposed to be earthed, and this is the live wire, and this is the neutral wire. So when they come here, they joined at this point, and then the neutral, the T and S, it means that this is the earth and the neutral are separated. They're separated at that point. So let us see. Let me zoom out this one so that you can see. So if this the meter, the electrical the company, the electrical company that is like Kenya Power. This is the gas meter. This is the water pipes. I said all the metallic parts are normally bonded. The bonding means they are connected to the earth mass, meaning all of them have cables tapped and joined at one point. This is the main earthing terminal. It is here. You can see the meter box here is earthed, and all the earthing cables are joined at this point. And this 16mm cable is drawn to the electrode. So let us assume this is the electrode. So this is at 100 ampere live. So this is the live and this is the neutral. So they are all grounded at this point, and it goes to the earth. So when we talk about the TNS system, is the shown in the figure and has a neutral of the source energy connected with the main earth at one point, only at or as near as reasonable. refractable to the source. So the consumer's earthing terminal is typically connected to the metallic sheath or armor of the distributor's service cable to the premises. So the cable sheath earth, that is the TNS system, the schematic for the earthing and the main equipotential bonding. It has the 25 millimeter square tail of the selection. Then when we go on, now this is another system. It is called the TNCS system. We said the TNCS, it means it is the earth and the neutral are combined and then separated. So you can see we have the T that is the earth, the neutral, and that they are separated at some point, and then they're combined and then separated at this point. So this is at this point it is separated, and at this point it is combined. So the earthing at this point is combined, and the earthing at this point it's separated. That is what we mean. The neutral and the earth being separate. You can see this part is separate, the neutral and the earthing, all the way from the equipment. But at this point, it is combined. So the neutral and earthing is looped at this point. So it becomes the TN combined and then combined and separated. So you can see the combined neutral or protective conductor and the pen at this point, it is combined at that point. The source supply, that is with the PME applied, and let's separate a neutral as here. So these are the system of earthing that we have, and the protective conductor, that is the PE within the isolation. And then we can see now the electricity company isolation is here, the main earthing terminal. You can see the main switchboard and how this is combined, is installed, meaning they are connected, all of them. This is the protective circuit protective conductors, the metal for the gas meters, all come and join at this point. And then the main terminal is here. So it is separated from the earthing. So you can see it is separated. They are combined at this point, and then at the final part, they are separated, meaning the earth goes dependently. So here the distributor's neutral conductor is also used to return the earth fault current arising in the consumer's installation safety to the source. So to achieve this, the distributor will provide a consumer's earthing terminal which is linked to the common neutral conductor. And then now we go to the TT system. The TT, that is the earth and the earth. As you can see, the earth here and the earth. So the earth from the combination of the two, the neutral and the live, and then the earth coming here separately. So there's an earth here from the source earth and the consumer's earth, meaning the supply end, that is the Kenya Power's end, is earthed differently, separately, whereas the installation or the consumer's earthing is also done separately at the housing. So it is called the TT system. So a TT system shown above has the neutral of the source, the energy connected as the TNS, but no facility is provided by the distributor for the consumer's earthing. So then with the TT, the consumer must provide their own connection to the earth, i.e. by installing the suitable earthing electrode, the local installation. So because they have not been provided, the source, the earthing source by this supplier, like for example, the Kenya Power, which distributes the power, at the point of giving or offering the service cable, they don't provide the provision for the earth. So what happens? The consumer now has to provide to generate his own earthing, and that is what is seen here. So that is called the TT system. So the requirements of the BS standard, these are the standard code or the IE regulation standards are needed for earthing. That is the BS 7671 recognizes a wide variety of types of earth electrodes. So the regulation lists the types of recognized, the types recognized, which include the earth rods, the earth plates, and the underground structural metal work. So the soil resistivity of the ground is probably the single most important factor in the determination of the type of earth electrode. So rods can only be effective as the contact they make within the surrounding of the material. Thus, they should be driven into the virgin ground, not disturbed. That is, the back is not backfilled ground, meaning the original ground where necessary to drive two or more rods and connect them together to achieve the satisfactory results. So the separation between the rods should be at least equal to their combined driven depth between the maximum advantage from each rod. Now, in some locations, low soil resistivity is found to be concentrated in the top soil, so layer beneath which there may be rock or other impervious strata that prevents that. So we have the earthen conductors. The earthen conductors now, which are defined by the BS standards, is a protective conductor connecting the main earthing terminal at the installation in an earth electrode or other means of earthing must be adequately sized, particularly where buried partly in the ground, and be a suitable material and adequately protected against the corrosion or the mechanical damage. So the size of an earthing conductor is arrived at in basically the same way as for the circuit protective conductor, except that the table that must be applied to any of the barred conductor. So for the TNCS, supply should be no more smaller than the main bonding conductor. So the sizing of the circuit protective conductor, how do we size it? How do we calculate the sizing of the bonding conductor? So there are several factors which may influence and determine the size of the required for the circuit protective conductor. So a minimum cross-section area is needed. Minimum cross-section area of the 2.5 millimeter copper is required for any of the separate circuit conductors. So an example would be a bare or installed copper conductor clipped on the surface. Let me zoom out so that it can be very clear. Run on the cable tray or fixed to the outside of the wiring enclosure. So such a circuit protective conductor must be suitably protected if it is liable to suffer mechanical damage or chemical deterioration, to be damaged by electrodynamic effects produced by passing the earth current through it. So if mechanical protection is not provided, the minimum size is 4 millimeter square copper or equivalent. So the BS standard, I said these are the IEE regulation standards, provide two methods of sizing protective conductors, including the earthing conductors. So you can we're going to see a table including earthing conductors. So the easier method is to determine the protective conductor size from the table, that is the 54G, but this may produce a large size than is strictly necessary, since it employs a simple relationship to the cross-sectional area of the phase conductors. So the second method involves a formula calculation. This formula is commonly referred to as the adiabatic equation, and it is the same as the used in short circuit current calculation. So it assumes that no heat is dissipated from the protective conductor during the earth fault, therefore errs and the safe side. So even so, application of the formula will, in many instances, result in protective conductor having a smaller cross-section area than that of the live conductor. So in relation with the rates that we are given, so the formula that is used to calculate the size of the conductor is the I squared T, that is the time, that the cross-section, and the I squared, that is the current, the current in, so the normal size cross-section area of the conductor in millimeters, you can see it there, and the I is the value on amperes, that is the current, the fault current of the fault negligible impedance, which can flow through the associated protective device due to the account being taken of the current limiting effect of the circuit impedance and the limiting capacity. And the account shall be taken of effect on the resistance of the circuit conductor of their temperature arises in results. And T is the operating time for disconnecting the device. So all those are put into factored in, will be able to produce the size. You'll be able to know the size. So this is the typical distribution, site distribution of the PME supply separation and the PME earth of the main distribution board. Now this is how the PMEs are distributed. This is normally done by the supply company, which is the Kenya Power, what they do. You can now see the TNC and the typical separation, the type of earthing system, advantages and disadvantages. Now, protective, these are known other types of earthing system. Protective multiple earthing, that is the PME. Such supply system is described by the BS standard, that is the TNCE, and the advantage of this term is that it provides an effective and reliable method of providing consumers with the earth connection. For example, the maximum ZE, that is the resistance specified by the distributor, to be 0.35 ohms for this system. So supplies compared to the 0.8 ohm TNS supply. However, under a certain supply system fault condition, the PEN conductor, you saw the PEN conductor when we were talking about the system, the supply becoming open circuit external to the installation. So a potential can develop between the conductive parts connected to the PME. To the PME earth terminal and the general mass of the earth. However, since there are multiple earthing points on the supply network and bonding is provided within the building. So special locations. The Electricity Association publication provides guidance on the PME systems, while the PME systems provide an effective and reliable connection. So the Kenya Power normally uses the PME. It normally lights using the PME. Now, precautions need to be taken when dealing with special locations. For example, regulations are this for the electrical safety, quality, and continuity regulations does not allow the combined neutral and protective conductor to be connected electrically to any metalwork in the caravan or boot. So this presents the PME terminals being used for the caravans or both the mooring supplies, although they may be used for fixed premises and sites. So petrol filling stations are another area where the precautions need to be taken. The reference and publication in guidance to the design, construction, modification, and maintenance of petrol filling stations. So published by the Association of Petroleum and Explosive Administration and the Institute of Petroleum, which recommends the TT supply for hazardous areas. So a separate earthing electrode and the RCD or other alternative arrangement is required to ensure the segregation of the petrol filling station. Also, mines and quarries are another area, a supply taken from underground shaft and the use in productive side of the quarry and must have an earthing system which is segregated from any system bonded to the PME terminal. So finally, because of the practical difficulties in bonding all accessible extraneous conductors parts and electricity distribution companies might not provide a installation and construction site. So these are the systems that we talked about. The TT system we talked about is the consumer must provide their own connection to the earth by installing a suitable earth electrode local to the installation. So the circumstances in which the distributor will not provide the means of earthing for the consumer are usually where the distributor cannot guarantee the earth connection. And then we have the TNS system. You can now see an example here. This is a construction of a site farm. A swimming pool installation might be inappropriate unless the additional of precautions. Now, in case we have a transformer there, the PME has to be given. You can see there's a cable that runs here. This is the PME, the one that connects to the earthing. And up to that point, the discussion today about the introduction to earthing. So next week we are going to do something else, but still in earthing. So I'd like you to unmute your mic and maybe ask a few questions before we can end the class. Unmute your mic. Yes. Say something.
Okay, I only have the issue for the card.
Oh, the cart. I'm making the. I was setting a makeup cart for those who didn't manage to do the cart, because once the cart has been attempted, you cannot change the settings. So I was almost done with the setting. I've already posted the assignment 2 there. So before the end of the day, I shall have posted the cart 2 and the makeup cart. So the
Yeah.
makeup cart, I'll the moment I post it there, you look
Yeah.
at it and the credential. I give you the credential. So the moment you can be able to access now that you got my number, you can contact me so that I give you the credentials to do the cart.
Okay.
And did you do assignment 1?
Yeah.
Yes, assignment 2 is already posted there, so you can start it
Yeah.
today. By the
Yeah.
end of the day, I shall have finished the cart too, and I think you'll do it next week. You'll not do it this week. You do it next week together with cart 2.
Okay.
Is that
Okay.
okay?
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Any other question?
No.
Okay, so we'll end our class here, and let's meet. Let's meet next week. So, but in
Okay.
case of any problem, you can contact me before next week.
Okay.
Okay. Bye.
Thank Daru Indonesia.